Hey, I'm live. How are y'all doing? My name is Cassie. I'm with 3H Farms, Texas. We are a natural soap company here in North Texas. We also have a goat farm, and I've had a lot of great responses on my live soap making videos. I love answering your questions. So if you have any questions on how I make my soap, please pop them in the comments and I'll try to read them as I go. But I'm literally making one of our favorite soaps live. Kids are doing homeschool. Husband's working on the electric, so I don't have any lights on right here. So this is real life. This is our real life on the farm. So we have a soap company. We started last year, and I have lots of soap orders to take care of. So I need to get to making some soap. So get my apron on. And if you've never made soap before and you're wanting an attempt to make soap, please watch my video, or there is lots of videos out there on how to properly handle lye and how to make soap. But we are going to show you my method going along as I go. Let me just kind of turn you this way a little bit so you can see my setup. I am measuring out my frozen goat's milk right now. In this recipe, I use frozen goat's milk in ice cubes. Let me measure. Wait. Oh, let me zero out my. There we go. Wait. Let me put it on pounds and ounces. There we go. Pounds and ounces. Okay. I am going to put at least 15 ounces of fresh goat's milk in this soap recipe. And our soaps that we make with our fresh goat's milk, they have lots of natural fats in them. So it's super beneficial to people with sensitive skin like my family. My family and I, because I have eczema and sensitive skin. That's perfect. Now, I mentioned this is a coffee scrub soap. So I'm going to show you what I do. I'm going to put my milk back up, what I add. Here, let me close. I just started this live without closing my cabinets. Got my coffee out. I have fresh ground coffee. You could use any kind that you like. I prefer it to be fresh ground. Gives it a nice smell. Another thing that I did, or that I do, is I'm going to add real coffee that was cold from yesterday. I just put it in the fridge. So I am going to add real coffee to this. And I took my olive oil mixture and I steeped it. Well, let me get I don't put my hands in there. Hold on. I'll use a spoon. I hope you can see the lights not on because my husband's working on the electric. So I made my own little bag of grounds. I took a coffee filter and I stapled it and I put it in this oil and I put it on super low because I didn't want to scorch it or burn it or anything like that, because you can burn coffee grounds. I'm going to let the oil drip from that for a minute. And then I just let this slowly steep for a few hours, turned it off. I mean, it was like 1 to 2 hours. And then it's set overnight in the oil. So now my oil has all that beautiful coffee in it. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to throw this out. Actually, I'm going to put that in my compost bin. Let me get a paper towel. I do have children, so sorry about the noise in the background. Okay, so now we're going to set this over to the side. Now I'm almost done measuring the goat's milk. Before I lose my measurement on the goat's milk, lactate, and this helps the soap set up just a little bit faster. So I'm going to add that straight to my frozen goat's milk. I'm going to switch it back to ounces because I went over the pound mark and I want to see the ounces that I have. Now I'm going to add the coffee. And this is strongly brewed coffee. I have it being measured down here because you have to measure everything when you're making soaps. Got to be right on the 20-ounce mark. Oh, we're almost there. Later. If you're watching, feel free to say hi in the comments. I'm reading and watching in the comments, so if you want to say hi, feel free. I'll try to communicate back. Okay, now the last thing we do, because we already have our coconut oil and our olive oil, we had it measured out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pour this oil, and I'm going to make sure, since I have that coffee bag in there, make sure I didn't lose any of the oil or see if that had absorbed it. So I'm going to just pour some in here. Let me get my spatula and scrape it. Save a little time. It already turned the oil, made it a nice, beautiful color. And this is a cold process soap, so I'm not heating this oil back up. The only oil that I heated up was the coconut oil because it was, it comes in a bucket and it's already hard because it's not fractionated coconut oil. I use the 96, it's like a 96 degree, has to be heated up to melt. Okay, so we did lose a few ounces. So I'm going to grab the olive oil and pour some olive oil. Got some. Almost there. Perfect. Now, I'm going to get my coconut oil. This cold oil and this oil, it should cool it down. And we're going to add real coffee grounds at the end, because if I was to put the real coffee grounds in now, it's just going to get blended up with my blender, and you want to have the coffee grounds in there kind of just for the scrubby part of the soap. Let's pop this over here. Have plenty of room. Now for this, has that little burning sensation. Have some vinegar ready, white vinegar, pour it on there. I have it right by my sink. I even have it in a spray bottle. I could just spray it on my arm and then just wash it off if you do get any lye on you. So it's just out of this container, almost out. So I knew I didn't have quite enough in this container. Got another one. And do me a favor, if you like the live soap making videos, please give me a like, give me a follow, because I wouldn't do this unless I'm going to add the sounds and everything like that. And I used to make better videos, I should say, just being a mom, now homeschooling mom with everything going on. I just don't have time to edit videos right now. Am my lye ready? And I move my scales away. Camera too. So I have my oil ready to go. The only thing I need, and I can't believe I put this away. I gotta grab my scale one more time. That is castor oil. Castor oil is going to make the suds in the soap. Add too much and you're going to regret it. Don't add enough, you're not going to have a lot of suds. So there's a fine line in between how much castor oil you can use. So please get on Soap Calc, measure it out. I have several videos that show how I exactly make this recipe, so that's why I'm not going through everything I do. If you want my recipe, go to my goat's milk base recipe, and it tells you exactly what I put in my goat's milk soap. And then you can do your little additives to it. Oh, we're so close. I literally don't want to go over. Perfect. If anyone has ever had a natural soap and it ever feels slimy, they put too much castor oil in it. It can leave just a real slimy feeling, and when you're touching, it's just not a good feeling when you have it. Okay. So now, the next part is mixing the lye in with my goat's milk. I'm going to move this out of the way. We just sprinkle a little bit at a time, because the kind that I get are the microbeads. And the microbeads are a little, they have like static to them. But the static of the microbeads I prefer than the flakes. The flakes, when you're making soap, it just, I don't know. It just to each his own. So if you like the flake lye, use that. If you like the lye with the microbeads, use that. It's really up to you. And this is going to take, about 10, 15 minutes to get this lye incorporated all the way. 10 minutes probably tops. I say 15 just to give me a little extra time. And you want to be careful stirring it. You don't want to go crazy, because anywhere this splashes, it's corrosive. It gets on your countertop. I didn't realize, and it ended up eating just a little spot on my stove. So that was a bum, because it wasn't very old. Oh, this already smells good. You can smell the coffee. And then every now and then, check it with your thermometer. It's 54 degrees. That's a great temperature to be. You want to keep it below 90 degrees when you're doing a cold process soap, especially when you're doing a soap with goat's milk, because the goat's milk will scorch. You finish your schoolwork, sir? Hey, get to doing your schoolwork. I'm working. You got to work. We're not keeping up, that's for sure, but that's okay. We're at least doing it. It's a lot of work. I don't know about your school, but ours has a lot of work, but that's okay. We gotta get it done, and then that way summer can start. It already feels like summer here. This week we're going to have, well, tomorrow is supposed to be a nice day, but then after that, the heat goes up to 90 degrees. So we're going to feel like it's already summer here by Thursday. This already looks like coffee with a bunch of creamer in it. So it actually looks pretty tasty, but you can't drink this. Oh, it's climbing. We got to keep this temperature down. If your temperature starts going above 90, pop your bowl into a sink with ice water. I usually do this over the sink, and I have the sink full of the cold well water, because we're in the country and we have a well water that's super cold. And then I throw a couple of cubes of ice. That way it just keeps the temperature down, and we don't want to scorch that milk. Now, if it does go above 90, you're okay. That's just the ideal temperature. When we drink the goat's milk and you want to have it pasteurized, you want to pasteurize it. I believe it's about 115, 120. So it won't really scorch the milk, but you can lose some of the properties that we love in the milk. So just be careful with that. Also, I'm not wearing a mask because this is not producing any fumes. I have this well ventilated. Right now we have a huge kitchen area and nobody's in here with me. But normally, you know, for precautions, I have a mask on. But I'm not standing over this. But if you were not using ice or frozen goat's milk, you would need a mask because the lye would raise the temperature of the water and it would cause fumes. So you got to be really careful with that. Oh, we're at 96 degrees. We're getting a little hot. I have a little something. Where is it? I have an ice pack. Just set it on the ice pack. It looks like my lye is already mixed all the way. That wasn't 10 minutes. Wow, it mixed up really quickly. The added coffee, probably with the liquid, helped it melt that ice a little more. So we're going to, before it gets too hot, we're going to go ahead and put it in with our oils. Oh, that creamy color. It looks so good. It looks like caramel. It almost has a caramel smell to it already. With the mixture of the coffee and the goat's milk. It's natural. This is all natural. So this is just coffee and our goat's milk base. There's no fragrance oils. And they have a nice coffee oil. I've used that before and it smells fabulous. But I really want to try to keep this as natural as possible. So now we're going to get our blender, our emulsifier. We're going to blend this up. It's not going to take very long. You watch. That is getting the air bubbles out, just to let you know what I'm doing. You hear that little noise? There's a piece of lye. So I may have to filter this real quick. Watch, I'll show you. This is perfect that it happened too. And put this in the bowl and grab my little filter. Let's grab this. If, when you're blending, you hear a little noise that sounds like something's hitting your blender, I guarantee you there's a piece of lye that turned into a chunk when you were mixing. And when you're mixing into the milk, you can't really see the lye. So you want to filter it out just like this. Yep, it's down there in the very, very bottom. Let's see if we can get it out so you can see it. No, don't drop it. So a piece of the lye chunked up. And I'll show you what that looks like. You can even hear it. There it is right there. I don't know if you can see that. Inside there, you can see a piece of lye. That chunk of lye, I don't really know how it did it, but it got a chunk in there. Gosh, I don't want to drip this on this bowl. Make all that. And then we're going to pour this. Don't knock over. Don't knock over. I'm going to pour this back so you can see it. I'm not wasting a drip of that soap, so just bear with me for a minute, and I'll get back to blending. Now let's see if we hear it. That's it. Good deal. So I hope that tip helped anyone out. So if you're ever blending and you hear it sounds like something breaking, like a little, I don't even know the best way, just you can hear it on your blender, it grinding in there. That's a chunk of lye. So make sure you grab that out of there. Just some lye gathered together and formed a nice little chunk in there. So we're just going to be blending this to trace. You want it to look like a thin gravy, and you want to make sure your oils and your lye mixture is mixed together. If you see it separating still, it's not mixed together. All right, let me check my temperature. 99. We're doing good. Okay, I'm going to grab my molds. Two of my favorite molds. These are just simple molds. One day I'll have those giant molds, but right now I have these, and it makes it pretty easy, so I don't have to split the log. But when I want to make more fancy swirly soaps, I'll be doing that. But these are great for just the all-natural bars that we don't add any swirls or any colorants to or anything, any micas to. I shouldn't say colorants. We add micas. I'm going to be putting that coffee ground in. Okay, we want 2 ounces, roughly 2 ounces of coffee grounds or 2 tablespoons, whichever. If I can open it with my gloves, that'd be great. I'm going to get a tablespoon because I'll be using that to make my swirls or my soap lines. I make a decorative top and I use a spoon on the top. And I did not get a tablespoon. I just found a teaspoon. So luckily I've made this enough. I know how much to put in. Perfect. I'm going to get my big spoon over here. I'm just going to stir it in nice and gently. Now, if you wanted to add a fragrance oil, this would be a perfect time to put your fragrance oils in there. If you wanted to add an essential oil, say you wanted essential oil in here, you could add the essential oil in. But we're going to leave this just the coffee scrub, coffee grounds, and the coffee that we put in here. Let me scrape the coffee, stick into my spoon. Make sure there's no clumps of coffee. And I could take my blender in here and blend it a second if you see any clumps. As long as it's not too thick. Okay. It looks like cookies and cream ice cream. It looks delicious. And for those that don't know, the coffee scrub is so good for your skin, especially if you have cellulite and the caffeine applied to your skin. It just tightens it. That's why it's good for cellulite, because it makes your skin feel tighter. So this soap, being all natural, you could even use this soap on your face. I mean, I have eczema on my face, and it has never irritated my eczema. So this is a wonderful soap. This is just one of those, I love those coffee scrubs that you can buy. And I also make some just as gifts, but I think the coffee soap is not as messy, and you get the great benefits from it. And here we go. We're going to pour it. Can you see how? Let's get a little closer, close as I can. Oh, the lighting in here is not great. I'm so sorry. I wish the lighting was better, so you could see how wonderful this looks. I'm going to switch hands because I'm right-handed and I have to scrape with my right hand. And really, the more of this you scrape out, the less you have to clean. So scrape away, everyone. Don't waste any of that soap. You wouldn't think that there's a lot of soap in there, but there is. It'll make a difference. And you don't want to waste any of this once it's turned into soap. It's so amazing. I'm such a nerd. I really love the whole sponification where we're taking oils and we're turning it into a soap for our skin. And in my opinion, our soaps with the olive oil and coconut oil, we've even used a canola oil. And I'm not against palm oil. I'm just not a fan of it in my soaps. There's a lady who loves the palm oil because she's allergic to coconut oil. And palm oil is one of those oils that are pricey, especially if you want to get them sustainable. So if you do buy a palm oil, please go to Essential Depot. They are not a sponsor. If you want to sponsor me, Essential Depot, I will talk about your stuff all the time because I use it. I use Soaper's Choice as well, but they don't have the palm oil at a great price and sustainable as Essential Depot. So if you're needing any kind of palm oil for your soaps, I would choose Essential Depot. They even have some for sale on Amazon through Essential Depot. So if you need oils in a quick hurry, but they ship within a couple of days too. So I would give the business to Essential Depot. I mean, they're still getting your business. They're selling stuff on Amazon. They're paying to put their stuff on Amazon. But, you know, a lot of companies, I would prefer, you know, people to buy straight from me if I had my stuff on Amazon. So that's it, everyone. 31 minutes. We just made soap. That's amazing, right? So if you want to make soaps, what kind of coffee is it? I ground fresh Colombian coffee from our local H-E-B store. The Colombian coffee, to me, has a very rich, strong smell. But if you love those flavored coffees, like we're a fan of the Texas pecan roast coffee. It smells amazing. If you're a fan of Starbucks, whatever you like, you can grind anything. You can even use regular ground coffee and a coffee oil, but we used fresh ground coffee because that will just smell amazing with the hot water and the soaps. And then we steeped our oils over a few hours and then left them set overnight with coffee grounds in the oil. And then we, strained it and everything like that. So it's got coffee that we steeped oil in. We put coffee with the lye and the goat's milk. And then we put coffee grounds in it. So it's got a nice coffee smell, but it's not overly strong. So some people really like that coffee smell. And if you really want to punch up your coffee smell, Essential Depot and a couple others, Rustic Essentials, a couple other places that I use, Bulk Apothecary, they have a coffee bean oil that you could add, and you don't have to steep your coffee in your oils. You could just use the coffee oil straight from them. But that's the way we did it because I wanted to make a soap that we did completely natural. The coffee bean oil is natural. I'm sure it's naturally derived. Just make sure you're checking your ingredients and through the company. So I'm going to get to cleaning up here. If you have any more questions, pop them in the comments. And I'm going to show you what we do to the top. Now, if you've never made soap before, if you don't cover the top of your soap with a board or something, the outside air, can turn it a little ashy color. It looks like when your skin's real dry and ashy. That's why they call it ashy. So spritz this top with some alcohol. Let me show you. I have my little alcohol spritzer, which is hard to find alcohol right now. All this does is it pops any of the bubbles that are on top so you don't get any bubbly, and it's going to keep it from getting that oxidization or whatever that is where it looks ashy. And then we're going to pop some cellophane on top to hold the heat in while it spawnifies, to keep anything out because we are inside my home. I do take these to my soap shed once they've set up for a little while, but I have kids, dogs, stuff like that. I want to keep this hair and a kid free. So let's put those on there. And another little trick that I do when I put I don't think I've ever done this on a live, but you're not going to keep the cellophane from sticking to the top of your soap. So just go ahead and let it, but start it from the middle. And then once it goes from the middle, you just kind of lift and give it a little shake. Don't lift up too far. And it'll just lay across the top of your soap and it will seal it. We make fresh pumpkin pies for the holidays. And this is how we keep our pumpkin pies fresh. We get cellophane and we lay it over the top and we let it basically stick to the top of it just like that. Now that way it doesn't oxidize. Ta-da! See, and there's my husband.
I like to come in here and mess these up.
You do not. But see the mess? I got to clean all this up. So that's going to take me another 30 to 45 minutes. So just like I said before, when you make soaps, it's like baking a cake. I refer things to food because I love food. But you're mixing up the cake. You have to have the correct measurements. You have to make sure you pour everything correctly. He's distracting me. And then now, so I'm going to go. I'm going to let everyone get to the rest of their day. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for XYSIM. Thanks for the comment. I really appreciate that. Please subscribe to our channel if you like this, and I'll be trying to make more videos and then get back to editing videos because I love doing that. Have a great day. Thanks so much. Got to end stream. Where's the button? End stream. Yes, I want to end stream. And now.